Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers for beers.
Cheers.
Glub, 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 glub.
That's how it starts. Episode 7.
And welcome back, race fans, to episode number 7. Yes, I know. Last episode was number 5. This is number 7 of the Armchairs Racers podcast. I'm your host, Tommy Joe, alongside co-host here,
Alex Reckless.
And I guess first what I want to address is the lack of episode 6. So when we had recorded episode 6, I don't know what happened, but unfortunately, I think the files became corrupt from the audio. And it sounded like you were listening to it on a radio from 1925. It was just terrible.
What did we talk about in that episode?
Oh, nothing important. I mean, we all talked about, Denny Hamlin and Ross Chastain and the Louvers, but we could touch on that in this episode. Now that since we recorded that episode, now there's actually penalties involved.
Okay.
But I mean, the gist of that episode was Denny Hamlin and Hendrick Motor Sports. Penalties. But now we have those penalties because it was like, are there going to be penalties? Because, and then I think, did something break when we recorded that episode? Like breaking news?
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, so this is episode 7, and also. With episode 6, there was a segment we were talking about that we got completely wrong, and we were talking about for like 20 minutes. Eric Amarola with the tire, like we were debating like what's going to happen to him, and he got a 2-lap penalty, and I was like, ugh, we were really wrong on that, and I don't want to.
Did we think that he was going to be penalized after that?
Yeah,
but he wasn't.
No, because he got a 2-lap penalty, and that was that.
Okay.
But anyway, I don't want to put out a bad like. I know for me, like, if the audio is really bad on a podcast, I don't want to listen to it. And this was way worse than anything I ever heard. Like, this was worse than, recording an episode, like, over Skype or something, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't good. And it was too late in the week when I was editing it to re-record it with Alex. So we scrapped it. I'll take some bits from it and sprinkle it into this episode. Topics that we talked about, we'll talk about it again. And I just want to make sure I have the right news for you guys, because I don't want to be telling you guys the wrong thing, because I don't like misinformation.
Yeah.
So, anyway, this is episode 7, and we have a lot to talk about this week.
Okay.
Well, not about the race, but about what happened during these races. So, before we get into that, how was your weekend?
It was my goddaughter's 2nd birthday on Sunday, so I caught what I could of the race. We had it. It was on in the background. I played a show on Saturday. Rock and roll, metal.
Yeah. Metal.
And Friday was St. Paddy's Day, right?
Yes, it was.
Mel and I went out to dinner with their sister and soon-to-be brother-in-law. So it was a nice little dinner. We didn't actually do anything. We just had dinner. But,
nice.
How was your weekend?
Mine was pretty fun, action-packed. So Saturday was Jack's bachelor party. That was a great time. Went to Topgolf. Went to go see Steel Panther. Mm-hmm. Went to IHOP after.
Nice.
The IHOP by Starland's not open 24 hours anymore. We had to go to Piscataway. By my job.
You went all the way to Piscataway?
It was 20 minutes. We were hungry, dude.
Oh my.
There was nothing open at midnight.
I know. So
that's where we went, We had a good time. It was fun. Jack's getting married in a couple weeks. Can't wait for that. Mm-hmm. Which sadly means we're probably not going to have an episode for Talladega. Because they're getting married the 22nd. Talladega's the 23rd. I'll be driving home. I mean, I'll be listening to the race. I mean,
always watch it after and do a late episode.
We might have an episode, but and then right after that, we go right into Dover. I know. It's that stretch because you got Coda coming up. It goes Coda. Isn't there Richmond in there somewhere? Or is that later? Let's look at the schedule. We can do that. Wait, SpongeBob, we're not cavemen. We have technology.
So, speaking of Dover, we were just checking out the pop-up camper that I was pretty much gifted by my aunt's boyfriend. We were looking at it, needs some TLC, but it looks like we're looking like we're going to have it, and we will be camping there. And I think you said you're looking at Lot 9?
Yes, Lot 9, where the campers, the tents and the pop-ups are.
Yeah. So anybody that listens to us will be hopefully camping there. If we don't camp, we're going to be doing at least Sunday. But yeah, we're checking it out.
I forgot one. It is Richmond. So it goes Dakota, Richmond, Bristol Dirt, Martinsville. Because those three races are
short track,
all within an earshot of each other too.
They are.
And then it goes. I remember last year I wanted to do Bristol and Martinsville. Mm-hmm. And it was going to be interesting because I would have done Bristol, Martinsville, not Talladega, and then Dover.
Yeah.
But, that would be really cool 1 year to do all four of those races.
First, we were thinking of doing Martinsville. Yeah. And then I was like, well, I've done Martinsville, but dirt. And then after we, when we're doing dirt, Dale Jr. announced, hey, I'm racing at Martinsville at Xfinity.
Yeah, no, he announced that before. That's why we wanted to do Martinsville originally, because you were kind of like, I want to do dirt, and I was like, yeah, but then I think the Bristol dirt race was cheaper. I think
could have been that too.
I mean, it's a good thing we didn't go because it snowed. And we would have been in my tent. So, I mean, it's a good thing we didn't go.
Yeah.
But hey, we went to
we got to see NASCAR dirt.
The Bristol Mud Race.
I mean, I was better than the first couple ones.
The Bristol Mud Race?
Yeah.
The Bristol Mud Race.
When they were sliding, wet dirt. Okay, so they were sliding down the track on caution, but
well, that was only the second dirt race. But I'm saying, we got soaked after Bristol.
Yes.
And then we drove through. I got sunburned Sunday, and then we drove back home in a snowstorm.
But that was a good dirt race.
Oh, that was
that track being wet like that.
Yeah.
For all of them, the track being wet like that. You need a wet dirt track.
I even ran into a Facebook celebrity.
You did?
Yeah.
I don't know who.
Thug Nasty.
Yeah, sure.
From the Mullet page. But yeah, I'm really excited about, I feel like now we're really getting into the core of the season. This is really where it's going to separate the men from the boys. You're going to have...
I just like how it goes. We have our first couple races.
The West Coast Swing.
Which you have a mix of races. You got the flat mile at Phoenix, and then you have the 1.5 mile Vegas. You have a mix there. Auto Club, which we'll see what happens with that, but that's the 2 mile. But now we're just going after Coda, which is a road course, or first road course, like you said. Yeah. We're going short track racing.
Yeah, a lot.
Richmond, dirt track, at Bristol and Martinsville. Just 3 road courses.
And then they're like, wait, these tracks are too short. We got to go to the biggest track we got.
Yeah.
And then it's like, whoa, this track's too big. We got to go. We got to go small. We got to go a mile.
But it's funny. I think it is a little bit funny that they just... You go from a mix to just short tracks and then super speedway.
Man, look at the history. So, you got Kansas, that's whatever. They got Darlington and North Wilkesboro back to back, and then Charlotte. I didn't realize it played out that way. Look at that. That's like a historic stretch of racing right there.
I feel like that All-Star race is early. It just feels early that we're already talking about an All-Star race, although we're talking a couple months now. Yeah. We're talking 2 months now, but just, looking at it in
the fact that it's not, far away, it's right there,
Yeah. I mean, in a month, we're going to Dover. In almost a month, right? Because March is almost done, and then beginning of April.
Yeah.
So almost a month.
April is gonna fly by for me because I got Jack's wedding. Mm-hmm. I gotta get ready for that.
I'm gonna be there too.
You're going, but I'm in the wedding. I mean, I got more stuff that I have to do. I'm the best man. I finally got. Don't take this the wrong way, Jack. I finally got the bachelor party out of the way. It was a great time. We all had a great time, but
you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Well, I've never done before. I've never even been in a bachelor party. I didn't really know what to do. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to make sure that he had a great time. I'm glad it went off without a hitch. It was a great time, but now the wedding's coming up and then it's all over.
And that's
and
it.
then I have another buddy getting married in Georgia at the end of in October, and I'm in his wedding too.
Nice.
And then Jill has she's the maid of honor for her friend at the beginning of October.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so a lot of weddings this year.
Yeah, I still got. I got a couple weddings too. I just I think last week I was saying I didn't watch the race because I was at my cousin's wedding.
Yes. Yes.
But I'm also going to be at Jack's wedding just as a guest, and I still got. I'm not doing Nashville anymore for Andrew's. Oh, Andrew doesn't listen to this. I don't think Andrew even knows I'm doing this.
No. Oh no.
They were going. Oh, well, he no. Okay, so Andrew knows where it's going to be because John and Dom, they're his best men. They were going to surprise him with Nashville, but we're not doing that anymore. They're doing excuse me, sorry. They're doing St. Petersburg. I think it's a Florida thing.
Yeah. Oh, they could have done that like a couple weeks ago. They could have been there for the St. Pete Grand Prix. Grand Prix.
But we're doing Florida for him, and his wedding's in October. I think there's one more. I don't know. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of weddings for us this year.
Well, that's the age group we're in it, and then it's like I feel like we're at that age now. Like when someone says they're pregnant, it's not like a oh my god. It's like a congratulations now. You know what I mean?
No, it's still oh my gosh for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still like on the cusp of being like, am I worried? Am I happy? You know? I mean, I still have those friends where I'm like...
Always worried.
Well, like, if you came to me and said... I mean, I'd be like, whoa, how are you pregnant? But, I mean...
Okay.
Anyway, back...
This is a NASCAR podcast.
Yes, this is a NASCAR podcast. Sorry. So, we went on a big tangent right there. Let's see. So, anyway, we have a pop-up camper that we're taking to Dover. We're gonna, kind of like that Eric Church song, Talladega, where, that old Winnebago had to fix it up and get it going. That's what we're gonna do to this pop-up, and, it ain't the prettiest thing, but...
It's gonna get the job done.
It's gonna get the job done. And I hope... For the races that we do go to this year, I hope that we can get some content. Whether it's interviewing fans, maybe we could get Darth Comment of the Week in person.
In person?
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool. We'd have to play along with it, though, because I don't want to get into any fights.
No, for sure.
But we could just feed into it and just have them,
Just get dumber.
Yes.
Feed into the stupidity.
Yeah.
I still have so much of the more. I still have so much of like the Bristol and like the Pocono stuff.
Yeah, we'll probably sprinkle it in somewhere.
Yeah, I gotta get it to you because I have a lot of it just around. And
I really want to. I don't know how to do it because I know how to do it.
We gotta make our own page because right now, maybe for the podcast itself, the stuff can go on.
Well, I want to make our own TikTok and I want to make our own Facebook page. Yeah. But to post, I'm fine posting through fronts, but I want to make our own page. I want to have our own interactions, and I want to figure out how, because just so you guys know, I mean, this shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. None of us took any classes in media or anything. I mean, this is just some stuff that I learned either from Jack, who went to school for sports journalism, or what I learned from Zach because he has a background in media.
Okay.
Or whatever I learned on the internet, or just whatever I picked up. Because I always liked media when I was a kid. I remember being a kid, got an iMac, I wanted to make movies. Never made one, but
okay.
I just always liked to be in media. I remember always wanting to create a sports vlog. Like a NASCAR vlog on YouTube back in 2012, 2010.
Now you are.
And now I am. Now I'm making a podcast because now I don't think podcasts were a thing back then. No. If they were, they weren't big.
It was vlogging.
Yeah.
I mean, technically speaking, we got the video and it gets posted. It gets posted. Yeah.
But I want to be able to interview people. I want to have a camera and a microphone.
We got to get more.
I just want. We had to get more stuff. I want to know how to be able to do that. And make it work, but I just want to be and you're just.
I mean, it's definitely doable, but we got to get at least the followers.
Yeah. But I mean, we can make followers there. I mean, like when we went to Dover that one year, and they're like, "Fred, give us your best drivers, touch your engines."
I don't know who the hell that was.
It was LFG Sports. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I found them that way. So I mean, we could do it that way too. You know.
We just got to make our own fake VIP.
Yeah. I mean, if we keep, I mean, if we could somehow like oh fuck, what's that guy's name? LW, right? Our way into like becoming, about LW, right? Right? He was a guy that pretty much faked his way into a race at Talladega.
Nice.
Like he didn't have an NASCAR license or anything or any prior experience. He literally just lied his way into a race car at the race, and then he just took off, and no one found him. Yeah, it was like a big thing. Apparently, like they just found him like a couple months ago.
How?
It's like back in like the 70s.
And what car?
It was the honor system. Like apparently he just lied his way into everything, and then just wound up lying perfectly to get himself onto the track.
How did he get into a car? What car? Where was that driver?
He bought a car from someone, or he like.
Holy shit!
Yeah, like it was his car per se.
Yeah, okay.
But,
so
he brought it there and stuff, but like. It wasn't like he bought it or he borrowed it or whatever, but like he just lied his way. He was like, oh yeah, like I have these wins at this racetrack that doesn't exist. Back then there was no way to check it.
That's insane. That is insane.
And then like he basically just like said, yeah, I have a NASCAR license, and it was the honor system back then, and.
I'd take your word for it. We're gonna shake hands on it and have a beer.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, that's how things were done back then. Like your handshake was it.
Yeah.
Like you never broke a deal on a handshake. Nope. That was stronger than a contract. Well, yeah. But I'm saying, but like back then, and hopefully maybe we could do that. Like being a sports journalist. I mean, are we sports journalists?
I'm journaling.
I mean, we're journaling about NASCAR and NASCAR sport. And then just find our way into some media passes one day. That'd be pretty cool.
Excuse me.
Because my goal, one day, it's never gonna happen.
You're talking this whole thing as I just like.
I know. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna go take that out. I'm just gonna be nothing, and then they're gonna start laughing. You're gonna start laughing and saying, "I did this whole thing," and no one's gonna hear it. And they're just gonna think you're crazy.
But this is
because I'm gonna gaslight you into
gaslight me. This is the whole amateur.
Yeah. But like my whole thing, like if I could. I don't think I'd ever have the opportunity to do this, but like I'd love to just have like just be like the NASCAR reporter from the fans' perspective.
I mean, if we could get to
like
where
just get like a big RV, go around and just become like
Racetrack Rob, who used to be Shitty Rob.
Yeah.
I mean, who's the dude now that's on TikTok? Like he's doing stuff with race car drivers. Like if I could just like. To the point where at least one driver is like, yo, you do the podcast, you do the videos, you burp into the microphone.
Burpee McBallsack over here.
And just, like, interview a driver.
Yeah.
Get to a racetrack. And,
hell, it could even be fucking Cody Ware.
Please let it be Cody Ware. I'll have anime all over the place. I was not going to say anime.
Hentai?
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, if we could do an interview with Cody Ware, maybe he could change our opinion. I mean...
Yeah. Listen, that's all I want.
Yeah.
That's all I want. We go to the races, might as well do something with it. We're NASCAR.
Like BJ McLeod,
BJ McLeod is awesome.
He is awesome.
Did you see Shitposter shared a picture? He was walking around the stands.
No, I didn't see it.
I think it was Atlanta. I think it was Atlanta, and it's like, before the Cup race, and he's walking around, and he looks like from 2005, like his outfit. Yeah, someone in the comments put Frank Durst. He's dressed like he's from 2005. So not only does he just look like that in his race suit, his hair slicked back and those sunglasses. No, he is still from 2005.
Guy Fieri over here.
Yeah.
Speaking of, did you see like right after the race? Now that I'm remembering it, I think you did share it. Right after the race, Red ran right into a porta potty.
Yeah.
And then Denny, I guess Keselowski didn't lock it, and Denny goes in there, and they said, "Oh, it smells like Hawaiian rolls."
Yeah. They show the video. They put it on TV.
Did like a time lapse.
Yeah. Brad runs in helmet's still on.
Yeah, he ran right to the bathroom.
You said it because I shared it, and you're like, "Oh, he almost pulled a Tony Stewart."
Yeah. I mean, maybe he did.
He could.
Maybe that's why he didn't win. He had a little extra weight, you know.
But yeah, he runs in, and then a little while he doesn't lock it. A little while later, then he just decides he's all these porta potties. I'm gonna go to this one, and Brad's in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of got to judge Denny on that one. All three of them were unlocked, and he chose the middle one. It's like choosing the middle stall. You never choose the middle stall.
But they're all just open. I don't know.
If you go into the bathroom and there's 3 urinals, which one are you taking?
I'm gonna establish dominance and go right in the middle.
So you have to have someone pissing next to you.
Establish dominance.
But you're gonna have to have someone pissing next to you then.
Okay, they're gonna be too scared, or they're gonna have to suck it up.
Suck what up?
Fucking. No, yes, you gotta establish dominance. That is my urinal.
That's not your urinal. That's your bathroom now.
My bathroom.
That's your bathroom. That's your throne.
Exactly. How did we get here?
ADHD and beer. But anyway, so not to touch too much on this week just yet. We're gonna pump the brakes here just a little bit here, and we're gonna throw that sequential gearbox into reverse and back it up onto Phoenix. So I guess first order of business would be the louvers from Hendrick Motor Sports. My opinion's kind of changed since last week.
There was a lot of interviews and
yes,
stuff.
A lot more news has come out. So NASCAR found that the louvers in all 400 cars were and one louver on the 31 car of Kaulig Racing were modified. Now they're not saying that it was modified for performance gain, but it was modified. Mm-hmm. And the rulebook says you cannot modify single source parts.
Just can't change them.
You can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
However, I feel like this is an interesting story because apparently Hendrick Motor Sports has well-documented lack of communication or miscommunication between them and NASCAR because they've been experiencing fitment issues with these louvers since February.
Okay,
since before February, that's what Chad said.
Since they've been getting them for those.
And Chad said, he came out and he said that they made the louvers fit.
Okay.
So if he's admitting that they modified the louvers.
Yeah, they've been doing it.
Now, is it to say that the NASCAR, like, what's in? I want to know what's in those messages. You know, what's in that. Email chain that was like, because like, what if they get to the track and then they don't fit?
Has there in that chain have there been has Hendrick Motorsports, has Chad Canals been admitting, since February, hey, they're not, they said they're not fitting, we're making them fit.
Yeah. And if NASCAR's saying, if NASCAR's not saying yes or no,
because obviously it was brought to NASCAR's attention before Phoenix.
Yes,
and they checked before Phoenix
because this was
all of the cars.
This was a voluntary inspection prior to tech inspection.
Yes.
Usually, what Chad Canal says. Usually, what happens is that they have this voluntary inspection before tech inspection to give the car a once over, and if they see anything they don't like, they change that, and it doesn't count towards you fail tech once, you fail tech twice, now you lose your crew chief.
Right.
Like Kyle Busch had at Atlanta.
Yes.
That wouldn't count towards that. It's a voluntary inspection, and NASCAR would be like, hey, we don't like that. We don't want to see that. Change that before it gets into tech.
And they did.
Apparently, Hendrick Motor Sports always goes to this voluntary inspection before tech inspection.
Okay.
That's where this was found. Now, the issue is that NASCAR saw it.
To take it off.
I don't know if they said anything yet, but they let the cars practice with the louvers on.
Okay.
And after practice, they said, take those off. We're taking them. I don't know if they grabbed another set of louvers off the shelf or if NASCAR handed them another set of louvers. That I don't know. But the fact that they let them practice with them and then they took them back, because it seems like with Chad, it seems like what he was saying was like NASCAR was like, okay, you're good.
Yeah.
And then after practice, like, yeah, no, you're not good.
Interesting.
And the car never raced with these illegal louvers.
Qualified or raced.
Yeah. The only time they were on track was in practice. I think what NASCAR wanted to see if there was a difference in their performance. I mean, Larson was fastest in practice. He qualified on pole. So, I mean...
Which there really obviously wasn't a difference, because then Byron also won.
Yeah. I mean, the 5 and the 24 were dominant in practice, and they were dominant all day. But this brings up another issue, is that if NASCAR isn't willing to... If NASCAR's going to come down hard on these teams for modifying parts, I get that. But they also have to come down on the suppliers. If these suppliers aren't able to supply these teams with the correct parts, don't use them. Now, I know it's a lot easier said than done, because now you have to find another company to make these.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a lot easier said than done. But, like, there has to be... These manufacturers of these single-source parts have to be held to the same standards that these teams are held to.
They do. For sure. I mean, I don't know where else you could look I mean, is it... I don't know. It's got to come down on the manufacturer at that point if they're having issues with that.
Because I thought before, oh, for sure they're gonna win the appeal, but now that Chad admitted that they made the louvers fit, okay, he admitted
that he changed them,
that they modified the louvers and the rules, but then now you have to go back into the email chain and see what was said. You know what I mean? Did
they admit to him in the chain?
Yeah.
Or is in what NASCAR said? You know?
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting.
Because maybe NASCAR said, hey, you could modify this part of the louver, but not this part of the louver. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, that's... Because they're kind of going at it the same way that Kozlowski, RFK and Penske did with the wheels last year when they won their appeal.
Where they were modifying where the holes were.
Yeah, they made it easy. It went on easier, and then NASCAR was like, okay, hey, everyone can do this.
Right.
After the appeal, so I'm interested to see where it goes. I mean,
I guess it depends on if everybody's having fitment issues.
Yeah.
And if everybody can use like the wheel thing, where everybody could use what Hendrick is doing to make the parts fit.
I mean, you see this hat, you see this shirt. If NASCAR said in those emails, don't touch them, and they still did it, that's on them. They deserve the fine.
Yeah.
But if there's any kind of not clear communication, then I think it should go another way.
For sure.
It's still ridiculous, the fact that if they're not right from the supplier, like that's still not okay. Like
that's still not on the teams.
Yeah.
But if they can't touch it, they gotta find somebody else.
Exactly.
Without touching the part. I don't know if they on the hood. I don't know. Something with the intake or where it comes from.
Yeah.
Just don't touch the louver.
Because I don't think the louvers are going to be that much of... At a track like Atlanta, I mean, a track like Phoenix, I don't think it's going to be that much of a gain. Because maybe I would see at Daytona, it would be a gain if they were able to get more heat out of the engine.
Yeah.
And have the engine run cooler because then you could draft longer. Like
Right.
that would make sense. But at Phoenix, it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so that's all I have to say about Hendrick Motor Sports right now.
Okay.
You want to move on to Denny Hamlin?
Denny got in a lot of trouble.
Yes. Well, Denny didn't get in trouble. And then he
got himself in trouble.
And then he tattletailed on himself. And then he got himself in trouble. And then he took the penalty. And then he's like, yeah, no, I'm going to appeal it.
Actually, what was the last episode supposed to be called?
So I was going to call the last episode Action Detrimental to Denny Hamlin.
To Denny Hamlin. Because
if he didn't say anything on the podcast,
if he didn't say a word,
it would have been fine.
Yeah. It would have gone over like anything else.
Yeah.
This is when, at the end of the race, Denny got into Ross a couple times.
Yes.
And it looked pretty intentional. But
like, if you just walled him in two,
mm-hmm.
and that's it, and he kept driving by,
that's it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But the fact that he ran him down the backstretch and then ran into him again in turn 3, that's clearly showing intent.
For sure. And then going onto his podcast and going, yeah, I had bad tires and I knew I wasn't going to get a top 10. So neither is Ross.
Yeah.
That's manipulating the standings and the positions of another driver.
Like, if they're going for the win and he wants to wall him going for the win, that's rude. But that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But to intentionally take a guy out, like, to go after him.
Yeah.
That's where you cross the line.
It is. It's unnecessary. There's a time and a place to get your revenge.
Oh, yeah.
But to take a whole lap at some random race, because I think we were talking about it when we tried to do the last podcast, that this was also supposed to be revenge for the clash, which is a non-points race.
Like, think about it like this: imagine there's beef in the World Baseball Classic right now.
Mm-hmm. And then
they see each other a couple weeks later during the regular MLB season,
and they're throwing beams at their heads.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. Because then there's a whole other team that's getting up in everybody, and
yeah,
it is. It's
that's what I would compare that to.
For sure,
know?
That's a good
especially
comparison.
in a race where everyone hit everyone.
Yeah, in the clash. Yeah,
everyone was hitting everyone.
It was the
Ross
crash.
was Denny. Ross was bound to hit Denny, or Denny was bound to hit Ross.
Yeah.
It just happened that Ross hit Denny. Mm-hmm. You know, the two of them were bound to make contact there.
Yeah, and so this happens at Phoenix, and then Denny says his piece. Admitted pretty much. He didn't say like I was going. He insinuated that this was all on purpose. And
he said it. Well, he said this was on purpose.
Or was it about Pocono? The Pocono.
He like in between the lines. If you listen to it, he admitted that was revenge. And then that blew up in his face because he got disqualified.
Yes.
And then now he does this here at Phoenix, mm-hmm. and it blows up in his face again.
So he gets penalized, 25 points and a bunch of money, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll take the fine. I deserve it."
Yeah. And
now, after
seeing what the penalty actually was for actions detrimental to stock car racing, manipulating the outcome of a race, and to intentionally wreck someone, whether they're taken out of the race or not,
which he still
did.
And now he's going to appeal.
Yeah, because I was listening to the teardown today, and they were comparing this to a couple different incidences in the last year or so.
Okay.
Chase Elliott and Kevin Harvick at Bristol.
When Harvick got into Chase?
Yeah, and then Chase specifically slowed down to prevent Harvick from passing, to slow down Harvick, and then Larson got by him.
Okay.
Do you think Chase should have gotten fined for that?
Did he?
I feel like that's I feel like it's a little. No, he didn't. I feel like it's a little different, just because it was at the same race.
Yes, that is manipulating.
It is manipulating, but I mean, I feel like it's a little different just because.
I mean, this you could almost say Denny and Ross. This is just it's targeted.
Yeah. But like this was at the same race that it happened at, and Newman did the same fucking thing. You couldn't fucking pass Newman.
No,
when he was a lap down, you couldn't pass him.
He does that at every race.
So I mean, I feel like he just did it better than Logano. And then the other one is Harvick and Chase at the Roval. When Harvick punted Chase.
Isn't that what you just said?
No, Bristol.
Oh.
Bristol was the first one.
Sorry.
And then it was a couple weeks later at the Roval where Harvick punted Chase.
Yeah.
No, the fact that Chase didn't get penalized, I'm okay that Harvick didn't get penalized because that was payback. Yeah. Which I think is fair. You know what I mean?
It is what it is.
And then Harvick ended up eating a wall.
Yeah.
And then another one was.
But you think about it. After those races,
they were done.
That was it.
That was it. Yeah.
They didn't go on.
It didn't carry into the next season.
And they didn't go anywhere and say, I did this.
Exactly.
Like it was on the track. They had their piece and that was it.
Yeah, like it didn't carry into next season. Like when I saw this all happen with Denny, I was like, are we really continuing this? Mm-hmm. Like, Denny, are you really going to ruin your fucking season again? Mm-hmm. Like, you're going to let him get in your head and you're going to fucking lose the championship again because you're not focusing on the big picture.
Yeah.
Like, why continue this?
Right.
That's the way that I saw it. And then another thing that they compared it to was Bubba Wallace and Kyle Larson.
At Vegas, yeah.
At Vegas. I mean, definitely what happened at Vegas was way more intense than what happened at Phoenix. Mm. But, like, where do you draw the line?
I mean, after that, those guys that's it.
Well, yeah.
And Bubba got his penalty. He took it. That's it. But you see anything happen after that?
No. I mean, I wouldn't say they're the same incident.
No.
But I think if NASCAR doesn't do something, you could see that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And NASCAR doesn't want that. I don't think anyone wants that.
No.
Because who else got involved in that? Christopher Bell.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and he had nothing to do with that.
Right.
I just, there was one thing I was going to say. I forgot what I was going to say. But it just seems like everything that Denny tries to, anytime Denny tries to retaliate, it blows up in his face. Because, like, if I'm Ross, I might be a little upset about it. But seeing that he got 25 points taken away and a $50,000 fine, I'd be like, all right, you know what? I can move on now.
Yeah.
Like if I'm him, like, fine. Let's just end it here. Mm-hmm. And another thing with Ross, I would love to see a compilation of all the times Ross has gotten into someone in the last 36 races. Because, like, think about how many, like, events he's been in.
A lot.
He really is.
I mean, there was even kind of almost one in Atlanta.
And in Atlanta, and then remember at Texas last year when he went over Kyle Busch? I mean, that was just bad luck. But, like, again, it was him.
Yeah.
Like, of all the incidents he was in last year, he still managed to make the Final Four. Mm-hmm.
And how many of those incidents turned into retaliation or anything else?
None of them. Like, Chase. Like, Chase made his peace with Denny. And where was Chase last year? In the Final Four. Mm-hmm. He had a shitty car at Phoenix, but, I mean, Chase made it past Gateway.
Yeah.
Denny didn't.
Yeah.
Because he's too worried about the wrong things. You know? Anyway, so I guess that's kind of... I don't think he should lose that. I think that fine... If anything, I think that penalty's a little too light, to be honest. Especially for someone that, like, is always voicing his opinion against NASCAR.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a really light penalty.
Well, it's not a penalty for what happened on the track. It's a penalty for what he said after.
Well, I mean, the penalty is admitting to what he did on the track. That's what it is.
Maybe
if he never said anything about it on the podcast,
there would be no penalty.
There would be no penalty.
That's the thing.
Because the reporters immediately wanted to go up to them after the race. They talked it out, and it was it.
That was it. But then Denny had to open his mouth. And I think maybe if somebody else was involved, it got caught up, like a
Phoenix
Bubba,
with Harvick, or
the Bubba and
not Phoenix, I meant
Larson.
Pocono, but yeah. Because you took
also
out Harvick,
yeah, at Pocono. If he took somebody out in this, like those other,
I see.
Thank you. Those other examples that we had, maybe it would be a bigger fine. Mm-hmm. You know, Bubba getting the race, getting suspended for a race for, also, you know, going after Kyle, but like, maybe if, you know, if it was more on something else happened on track, maybe it would be a bigger fine. But
yeah,
it was just between them. It only happened because he had his comments on his podcast. It's still a pretty substantial amount of points.
Yeah, 25 points is a big. I mean, there was no bonus points, but 25 points is a pretty big hit.
Yeah, it's gonna move you down. It could move you down a bit.
But it doesn't hurt as bad because three other drivers lost 100 points.
Yeah.
So I mean, not that bad. But speaking of being parked, Josh Williams in the Xfinity race, if you'd even call it a race, I didn't get to see it because I was out at.
Now we're on to Atlanta. After talking about Phoenix.
Yes. Now we're on to Atlanta. Now we're shifting that sequential transmission into first gear, and we're heading into Atlanta. And yeah. So Saturday, I caught a little bit of it at Topgolf, but I couldn't hear anything. So. But Josh Williams is told to park his car after Bear Bond falls off his car after being involved in a wreck. Mm-hmm. And he's told to park his car. And he parks his car at the start-finish line, walks out, hangs the peace sign to the crowd, and then is abruptly brought into the NASCAR hauler for the remaining 140 laps. I
did not know that he had to sit there the whole time. That's insane.
So not only did I... So I just found this out because he was on door bumper clear. So... Apparently, like, what happened was that he was involved in the wreck. There was, like, 7 cautions already by the time that this happened.
Okay.
Something. It was a lot.
Yeah. I
not
heard
7, but there were a lot of cautions.
I heard that there was, this race was compared to, like, an iRacing,
But you know what they didn't have?
What?
Practice.
Huh.
So, anyway, there was a wreck. Josh Williams got caught up in the wreck. He goes down pit road. I don't know how much time he had on the damaged vehicle clock, but... I'm sorry, my damaged vehicle clock. I don't know how much time he had left. Mm-hmm. But he goes down pit road. They put Bear Bond in the car. It was cold in Atlanta. It wasn't hot. Yeah. It wasn't hot Atlanta. It was cold Atlanta. So they're getting torches on the car, trying to heat it up, trying to get it to stick, because when it's cold, stuff's not going to stick. So he goes back out, and they have the one to go, and a piece of Bear Bond falls off the car. The spotters are like, hey, there's something on the track. Don't, wave it off. Don't have them come to the green. Mm-hmm. They don't do anything. They come to the green. They see the debris on the track. They call for caution. They find that it comes from the 92 of Josh Williams, and they tell him to park the car. So NASCAR tells the spotter, park the car. The spotter tells Josh, and he's like, what? Really? And then he's just driving around, and there's radio silence because now the spotter and the crew chief are talking with NASCAR. Mm-hmm. And he goes, you want me to park the car? Doesn't hear anything. So then he's creeping up the front stretch. He said his plan wasn't to park it there and be like, screw you. You just happened to be there. So he goes, all right, fine. So he stops. He unplugs, shuts the car off, gets out of the car, throws deuces up to the crowd, waves to the flagman. Flagman waves back. And he walks back to the pit. And then immediately after that, the owner, the spotter, and the owner, the crew chief, and him get called to the NASCAR hauler. I think it was Reagan Smith tried to interview him, and then a NASCAR official says no, he has to come to the Afield Care Center, and then they abruptly bring him to the NASCAR hauler. They ask him if he wants anything to eat or drink, and he goes, "No, I don't want to eat anything," because he's mad now.
Yeah.
So, he's like, "Hey, can I change? Like, can I change my clothes?" They go, "No, you can't change." He's like, "Can I at least get my stuff?" He goes, "No, you can't do that either." So he was stuck in the hauler for the rest of that race.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's crazy.
Yeah. Now, I think that was totally unfair of them to penalize him for that.
Yeah, he should definitely...
to park the car was totally a bullshit call.
Yeah.
They could have had him come back down and put the bear bond back on.
Yeah, I don't think he should have been parked.
Do whatever, Yeah. You shouldn't have been parked there, but I think they parked him just because the race was taking so long, so early. They're already running out of that TV window, and they had to get this race done. So it's like, you made this race longer. You're gonna suffer the biggest penalty that we have, and we're gonna park you, which is a total bonehead move. But then again, at the same time, I love what he did. I love it.
It definitely raised a lot of attention.
Yes, but you can't do that. You can't embarrass NASCAR because that's NASCAR. That's the sanctioning body. They are the ones that allow who races and who doesn't race.
I just want to know, because when you hear park it, it's, go to the garage. I want to know what went through his head. I guess I'll just stop here. When, if he heard park it, at least
he was just completely thrown. That,
I mean, I guess if your car is running fine, I get that. I would at least go to the pits.
But it's in the rule book that NASCAR can do that. NASCAR can tell any driver to park it at any time. Apparently, because apparently they showed him the rule book after the race.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so now he is parked at COTA and he won't be racing, which, I mean, I'm not happy he got penalized, but it was coming.
If you're gonna just put your car, it's already one thing, but to now they gotta clean your car, move your car.
Yeah, now they gotta move your car. Now, they parked you because you extended the race. Now you extended the race even longer, so it's they're gonna come down on you. But yeah. I still think, because
it could have been a lot worse.
Oh, it could have been a lot worse, because when he came out of the hauler and he was finally able to tweet again, he said he's gonna take whatever they give him. Mm-hmm. Whatever they give him, he's gonna take it. He's not gonna appeal it.
Yeah,
I think this is the best case scenario for him and for the team, because if they had to pay anything, they wouldn't show up the next week. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because he even said, "What's NASCAR gonna do? What are they gonna do? Fine me? I don't have the money to pay it." So I mean, I think that NASCAR wanted to be stern, and I think they realize, the finances of this team.
They're not gonna get anything,
and they're like, "All right, we're just gonna sit you out for a race."
Yeah. Again, it could be a lot worse. If you're told park, at least go to pits. Mm-hmm. At least. So...
I mean, he could have just said the car just died right here. And then he probably would have been fine.
Yeah, he could have, but, he knew what he was doing.
Oh, he knew what he was doing, for sure. Because he was pissed off. I get it.
Yeah,
and I love it. I love that it happened.
There's no reason for him to be parked if the car was fine. A piece of bear bond fell off. But one race...
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially COTA, did he... Who's to say you even want... maybe he was like, oh, fuck, I don't want to go to COTA, And it's he's like, oh, thank God,
Yeah, maybe.
Because COTA is a very technical track.
It is a very technical track. I'm excited for COTA.
Yeah, me too. We'll get into that in a little bit. But to recap the rest of Atlanta, Sunday's race was, again, first two stages were non-eventful.
Well, you gotta think it is now ass.
Yes, it is now ass. And to think about this, when was the last All-Star race at Charlotte? 2019?
Maybe why?
Because remember when they tried making Charlotte into a super speedway package?
That's when they first introduced the louvers, and they did. Yeah. They added high downforce.
So this has been going on for 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Them trying to turn a 1.5 mile track into
super
speedway, and that was with the Gen 6 car.
Mm-hmm.
Now think of all the changes that they made to this car, and we have this terrible super speedway package. They've killed Atlanta Motor Speedway.
It was.
I would like to see the old car on this package, the old car package on this track. That might be interesting, but
it could be.
I mean, we'll never see it. But the racing sucks now.
It's a super speedway.
It is. It sucks. It's terrible. They don't do anything for 2 stages, and then you had the race. I mean, I would say the same thing if Hendrick dominated, because we've been saying the same thing in the last 2 races. The first 2 stages sucked. Mm-hmm. It's dominated by either Kyle Larson or William Byron, and then you get a scuffle at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with this race, you had Harvick got chastained, in quotes, chastained.
Yeah.
That was just a racing incident. I mean, that's just a product of the racing that NASCAR wants.
They were just really close to each other. Ross got the air off of Harvick's spoiler, and Harvick got loose.
Yeah.
But it's not that he did it on purpose, but when you're drafting and you're on a track like this, it happens, and that's all it was.
Oh yeah, I mean Harvick even admitted that Justin didn't do anything on purpose after looking at the replay, because Ross even said, "I hit him, I hit him." I go, "Oh, it wasn't me. I hit him. I ain't touch him."
So it just so happened that he was behind him.
Yeah,
but it's. That's what happened.
He had Amarola.
Another
staying out.
Amarola.
Yeah, fucking Quinn Half 2.0. Yeah, him staying out when he should have gotten tires. Loses the right rear tire. Rex leading the race, takes out Kyle Larson. There's now the 3rd race that he's taking out Kyle Larson. 3rd.
I think he did it on purpose.
Oh, definitely. I mean, dude, I was screaming at the TV when this happened. I was like, motherfucker should have stayed retired. But, like, I kind of feel bad for Amarola because, like, he's really having, like, the best speed he's had in years.
He's up.
And he's just getting collected in dumb shit. He's either doing dumb shit or getting collected in dumb shit.
He's up. He's doing okay in the races.
He just can't connect these finishes together,
No.
But yeah, and then you had the last restart, and no, you never restart. You just had 2 restrictor plate veterans going for a win and proving that you don't have to wreck to win. That when 2 drivers race with respect, you can finish a race.
Who's that?
Joey Logano and Keselowski.
That's impossible.
Then they did it.
That must be the first time. That's what I was like, what are you talking about? Because I know they were in the front and they don't race like that, especially on super speedways.
Well, they raced with respect this weekend. So
I guess Brad had the shit, so he wanted to get. He didn't want to wreck.
If he wrecked, Brad got to shit himself. How did you do it in the front spool this week, Alex?
Horrible once again.
Thank you. Thank you. I wanted a hat. And I'll get it now because I said if you get 3 in a row, I'll get a hat. And you had to fucking pick William Byron. I picked the Joy, finished 4th, so...
You knew he was going to do good because it's a super speedway and anybody can do good.
You're getting tired, aren't you?
Why?
You sound a little tired.
I'm a little tired.
Yeah. It's been a long day, right?
It's been a long day. We'll work today.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Atlanta Motor Speedway being a super speedway now.
Yeah, I've already voiced my opinions on super speedway racing on this podcast.
Yep.
And I did not care for Atlanta.
But anyway, so we're gonna skip on Darth comment of the week because there's not too many Darthy comments.
There's some silly ones.
There's some silly ones, but not anything real notable. Just stupid stuff,
Yeah, isn't that what Darth is?
But not like, Darth level stupid.
Okay.
However, next week, we got a lot going on.
Circuit of the Americas.
We got this. Yes, we got COTA. We have the first road course race of the year, the first race without stage breaks. That's what I'm looking forward to.
The new road course rule.
Yes.
No stage breaks.
Also, the restart zone is going back to the smaller 2022 and prior restart zone. They didn't like it, I guess.
The longer.
No. I think California kind of did that in.
I mean, it did create for, the restarts, you really change it up. But yeah, like you said, California, and there were a lot of bad restarts there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's whatever. I didn't.
Yeah, I really don't care.
Yeah.
For me as a fan, I really don't care.
Yeah. I'm
sure the driver's probably like, hey, just give us back what we had.
Mm-hmm.
No one wanted this.
They were playing with it too much.
Yeah.
And as you were saying, at some point, that you got to take away. If you give them too much, you were saying this with the Gen 4 car.
Yeah.
If you give these guys too much, they're gonna get carried away.
Yeah, they're gonna take it because they have to. Because if they don't, someone else will.
Yeah, and that's what I guess because that's why we came up with the restart zone actually, because they were like, it starts with the car, the first driver, even before the restart zone.
Because like you had the line. You had like the restart line, and then you had to start. That's when you could go, and then they made the restart zone.
Yeah, because drivers would be waiting too. I think it was Tony Stewart.
Yeah.
Right? Because he'd just wait too long.
Just
wait.
And then the other guy would get black flagged, or they would restart it because making the race longer.
Mm-hmm. So then you came with the restart zone because they took too much. So the restart zone, driver could start from here. Once you get to here, green flag. And obviously they tried to give him more space back, and it became a shit show.
Yep.
So, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me, and it still won't bother me.
I'm sorry. But we have a star-studded field for COTA this weekend. We have, in this race, we have 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champion Jimmy Johnson racing the 84 in COTA. We have former single-time NASCAR driver and former 2007 F1 championship winner, Kimi Räikkönen. Mm-hmm. And then we have the 2009 champion, who is also the Garage 56 driver, Jenson Button. And then we have badass motherfucking Rodney motherfucking Sandstorm, also goes by a name Jordan Taylor,
who's also driving
who's the coach, the driver coach for Garage 56, racing for Chase Elliott at COTA. I am so fucking excited for this.
You're taking Jordan, right?
I am.
For the funds. Now, usually we get these, back in when we started watching, even before we started watching, but it really was a thing when we were watching when we
were growing up, yeah.
When we were growing up, you had these road course ringers.
Like Boris said.
But they were always in these lower drive cars.
Yeah.
That, those drivers didn't care. Those points, those teams, they didn't care. Yeah. They just wanted that car to finish.
They just wanted the car to finish.
So they had these ringers. Kimmy's in the 91.
He had speed at Watkins Glen.
Yeah.
He had speed. He got... did he get Chastained?
I don't remember. I don't remember this shit.
I don't know. I think he got Chastained last year, or he was... I remember, like, the 1 and the 3 being involved in that.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we have Kimi Räikkönen, who's in a top tier car.
Yeah.
You have Jenson Button, who's racing the 15, but it's a Stewart Haas.
It's a Stewart Haas.
It's a Stewart Haas car with the 15 on it.
I mean, Stewart Haas is... I don't know. We'll see how that goes, because Harvick's doing okay now again.
So is Almirola. You just can't get it together to finish.
Is that the car or the driver?
Yeah.
But we'll see. Yeah, I mean...
And then we have Jordan Taylor in one of the best road course cars.
The 9 car Hendrick Motor Sports.
And for those of you who don't know, Jordan Taylor is the driver of Corvette Racing for IMSA.
Yeah.
So that is, and he is. If you don't know who he is, look him up on TikTok. Look him up on Twitter.
So
he's a hell of a guy.
Kimmy might do good. Jimmy, did he ever Did he ever stand out at road
courses? I think he had
courses?
one win at Sonoma, I think, or Watkins Glen.
One.
But again, back then they only raced twice a year. It didn't matter. He didn't have to win at a road course to win the championship.
No.
He could DNF those 2 races.
So he didn't.
And still win.
So he wasn't really
matter.
a road course ringer.
I mean, he had strides at the Roval.
He did a little bit.
And then he did race IndyCar. So I mean, it's, and he also raced IMSA.
So out of these 4,
out of these 4, looking strictly at.
I mean, you're taking Jordan Taylor just because you want to take Jordan Taylor,
yeah,
right?
I mean, I think Jordan Taylor does have the. I would say that Jensen Button is probably a better driver than Jordan Taylor.
Okay.
But Jordan Taylor definitely has a better car than Jensen Button.
So you think he will do better?
But but Jordan probably used to a higher horsepower, more downforce car. So I don't know how that's going to translate into the current Cup car. Kimi already has a race in. He has a race under his belt. Granted, he had a DNF. Wasn't his fault though. So out of these 4, where are they gonna rank? Not like exactly, but where are they gonna rank amongst each other?
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna do. What I want to happen is Jordan Taylor and Jimmy Johnson completely tie at the line, and then Button just edges Kimi. Realistically,
because I do think Jordan's going to do good.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Jordan.
Good car, and he is a good road course driver.
I'm gonna take Jordan, Kimi, Jimmy, Button.
Okay. I do think Jordan is going to do good. I think we could see maybe
because Kimi raced Formula 1 cars. Button races Formula 1 cars. Those are open wheel cars. Jordan races a car.
Yeah. He's used
yeah.
to this. And even doing the 56 coaching, it's more horsepower, higher downforce, but he's still in a car.
If they were racing at Daytona, I'm taking Jimmy all fucking day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
the fact that it's a road course, Jimmy has no experience there. You know what I mean?
At Coda, yeah.
I don't know about Kimi. I don't know about the other 3 of them too. That track's newer, isn't it?
Maybe. I'm sure that. Testing Jordan's been there.
Well, there goes my computer. Let's see.
Your computer is getting ready for liftoff.
Circuit. Where is the circuit?
Down. Yeah, but isn't that's in the
2012.
I don't know if they're racing that. I don't know. But I think Jordan will do good. Most of what he's...
So Kimi's raced there.
And finished well there.
Yeah. And then I thought I saw a Button. Oh, wow.
Oh, right above them.
Yeah.
Okay, so they both finished well there.
Yeah, So that was the first year, and then. All right, so you know what? I think I gotta put Jimmy last year. I gotta go against my heart and put Jimmy's gonna finish the worst.
There's Button 10th, and the next year where's
Maybe he didn't race anymore.
Maybe.
Because he won in 07, so he probably retired by then.
Yeah. So you think the road course ringers are the F1 guys and they're gonna
they're
gonna have a leg up on Jimmy.
Yeah.
I think so as well. I'm unfortunately maybe if Jimmy does do Dover, he's gonna be doing Charlotte. He should be good there. But
see, I'm kind of sad because they already announced Charlotte. You would think they would announce Dover. which is before that.
True.
You know.
And they announced Coda, which is right before.
Yeah, that sucks. Unless he's gonna hop in the 9 car.
They already announced fucking what's his name for it.
Things could change.
I know.
What if Barry gets hurt?
So I do think Jordan's gonna do the best out of the 4. I can't speak for the other, the 2 Formula guys. What are we at?
We're at.
But I think we could see a top 15 out of Jordan. No, I'm gonna say a top 10.
Oh, we're at just over an hour. Like usual. I thought this was gonna be a short episode. Yeah, I think Jordan getting a top 10.
Definitely possible.
These guys are gonna finish top 20. I think. Mm-hmm. Definitely top 20.
Usually, and like I said, back in when we first started watching, like, these cars were just, the ringers were just meant to get those cars to finish.
You have Michael McDowell. You have Ryan Blaney's pretty good. You have Martin Truex Jr., who's pretty good. You have Kyle Larson.
Suarez is coming up as a workhorse.
I mean, you have talent in the Cup Series.
Yeah.
Because you have to be good on this race. You have to be good on everything. You know what I mean? Because you can't really just go and throw a race away.
Mm-hmm. Which is why I like this more diverse schedule. Yeah. More road courses, the dirt race now, like it's
street course race
now.
Which I have my issues with.
I really hope at least because it isn't that good of a layout.
The layout's not good. The Chicago's not really that like open arms about it. Like they're open arms. They're not open arms. Like
I hope the race does okay. I want to see it do okay.
The race needs to do okay.
Just so maybe maybe not Chicago, but a street course can do good.
Yeah. Because it needs to be at least okay. Mm-hmm. Anything worse than okay is they're probably never going to do another street course.
Yeah, and I want to see a street course. It is interesting that they don't go to one of the many cities that have one already.
Because that's what I would do. I'd either go to Detroit, go to Nashville. So they're already used to that scenario where Chicago isn't. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I still don't think. Let's just say that so Chicago is a big market. Let's say that they're gonna get. Let's say they're aiming for 20%. Let's say 20% of the Chicago market is bigger than the Charlotte area. Is bigger than all the Charlotte area, just for numbers' sake. Okay. That's still 80% against you. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you're trying to get a small, even if you want to only get a small part of that market, that's still gonna be a lot of people that are against you. Mm-hmm. It is. I just think Chicago is not the place to test this out. It should have been tested out somewhere else. Just see if it could work. Yeah. Then go and expand into those markets that you want to be in. Yeah. Do a tried and true track that has good racing. There's St. Pete. There's Nashville. There's Long Beach. There's
plenty.
Detroit.
Yeah. Even then, you could go outside. Canada has some street races.
It's just I don't know how it's gonna go, and the boomers are gonna be all over it if it's a bad race, which I think it's the layout, because they're gonna call it bad even if it's the best race that ever. I doubt it's gonna be the best race ever. Yeah. But even if it was, the best race
a good
ever,
race, we're hoping for okay. If it was a good race,
they're still gonna shit on it just because of Chicago.
Because it's a street race in Chicago. Yeah. But the layout, it's not anything crazy.
No, it's not. And if you look at the iRacing, there's no passing zones.
No. It's I just hope it translates to real life a little better.
Because if you look at the IndyCar road courses, yes, they're tight corners where you can't pass, but it has those passing zones. You know what I mean? Yeah. Mm-hmm. F1 doesn't really matter because even on their fucking road courses, there's not really many passing zones.
No, they're looking for time. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, back to Coda.
Yeah.
So you're picking Jordan Taylor.
I'm picking him for.
I already
funds.
picked.
You picked
2 weeks ago. I picked Chastain.
Chastain, yeah. You excited to see him drop the watermelon off a 251 foot tall observing tower?
I could care less. I just hope there's a fan up there that goes, meow, like when that phone was there. Meow.
You know, it'd be funny if he drops it on a Denny Hamlin diecast.
Oh my god, that would be funny. I would watch that then. If he's like, hey, look what the target is.
When is that? Is that before or after the race?
It's probably going to be before.
You have to clean that up.
It's not on the track.
Oh, no?
No.
Oh.
Do
I look like someone that's going to go watch a Formula 1 racing?
NASCAR's been there. Yeah, do you not know what the track looks like?
Okay, the first time they were there, you couldn't see shit.
I also have been there once.
Yeah,
I went go-kart racing there. I wanted to go by the observatory, but I couldn't.
You Formula 1 elitist.
I wanted to. I thought it looked like they did. They were talking like they do tours where you can see the observatory, but I couldn't find out how to get that. It is a beautiful facility. Yeah.
Do you think Joey's going to continue his momentum?
As we put it here, because it was supposed to be when we asked last week
about Byron.
For Byron fucking better, Joey fucking better not.
Yeah. Joey better not repeat here.
No. I don't like Joey.
Just road course racing.
Oh, I don't like Joey.
No, I don't like Joey and I don't like Denny.
Do you think we're going to have a good COTA race?
Well, seeing as the first one was an absolute shit show, like I'm just replaying that wreck with Harvick and Truex in my mind.
Well, it was also okay. So, like, yeah, NASCAR's getting into racing in the rain more with the road courses.
Like,
and this
no
and that.
one would race in that.
No
one would race in that.
That should have been called. That should have been called.
And that was again. I hate playing into the trope that Chase Elliott's the golden boy, but I mean. They had the race long enough for him to get the lead and called it. I mean,
yeah.
Like,
but that whole race, it was a downpour. Rain, yeah. Light rain, yeah. But that was a downpour, and it should have been stopped a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like when it was raining at the Roval, that was good. That was good. Because it wasn't a downpour. You could see.
And when it rained at Watkins Glen.
Yeah. But this first COTA race, it was pouring. It was really bad. They did up a little bit of like the safety features for the cars.
The mud flaps and the taillights. Better wipers.
Yeah, the cars are a little more better for racing in the rain, but that was bad. Even with if they had what they have now with the more lights and mud flaps, it would have been bad.
Oh yeah.
But even so, last year's race was really good. Really big finish with Allmendinger and Chastain.
Yeah, that was
Bowman.
That racetrack needed that race last year.
Yeah, I still think they shouldn't do the full course.
Yeah.
I think it would provide some good racing with the shorter course. I mean, granted, you get that long stretch with the full course. It would be right here.
So right here?
Yeah. It would be the length of like any other track, but you probably get more laps in, and it would just. The whole thing is like you have your sharpest turn and your longest. Like they get fast on that straightaway, but then you're coming to this tight turn. I don't think they should do the full course. It is what it is. The racing is still really good, but last year I thought it was really good. But I think this year will also be good. Better, we got a lot of good drivers coming in, even the extra guys. And it's gonna be a good race.
They make left turns here.
Huh?
They make left turns.
Definitely make left turns. They also make right turns. This is where the observatory is.
Most tracks go this way.
Yes, they
most
go.
road courses, they go.
Yes, they go counterclockwise here.
Yeah.
Or most road courses, they go clockwise.
Yeah.
Did you just realize that?
You think I pay attention to that? Kind of looks like Vermont.
You saying like the state of Vermont?
Yeah.
I can't think of what.
Like Vermont or like Idaho.
Idaho?
Idaho. Man, we're getting a little loopy here. So, I mean, I guess we already talked about what we are looking forward to most here, which is no stage breaks and these former champions racing and
The ringers,
and just to see what comes of it. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait, and I hope it's a good one. I hope it's as good as last year.
I think it'll be good. I am a fan of road course racing.
Oh, me too, for sure.
So I'm looking forward to this race a lot to see some good racing.
Oh my god! I'd say we have a good blend right now. Maybe one more road course, if that. Maybe.
For sure.
Nothing more.
What would you take away?
Well, you know I wouldn't take away a goddamn thing. A race weekend, maybe. But I ain't taking away any races.
There are some doubles that could go away. We
need double headers.
We need more double headers.
We're already over an hour, and we can't get into this now.
I think last week, or the last episode, I said I want to talk about this too, that we didn't even air.
Well, yeah, we gotta. Once there's maybe when there's the off week, I want to dive into our plans
how we
for
can
NASCAR.
fill in. Yeah.
Like I said, we want to do the state of the sport and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I want more racing.
We could use more racing.
I want more.
More diverse racing.
Because it's to give a synopsis of everything. Any track that's not a crown jewel that has more than one date, make it a doubleheader weekend, and you're gonna increase your viewership for Xfinity tenfold.
Yeah, you will.
And your viewership for the Truck Series tenfold.
Attendance and viewership.
Because they're gonna be there at the track. There's just a short version. They're already gonna be there at the track for the Cup Series race. They're gonna go see the other race, pretty much for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're gonna see attendance numbers that you haven't seen before because now there's only one weekend.
Yeah.
It worked for Pocono.
And Dover.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, do a doubleheader. You still have the same amount of races, but you can add more races into the season. That's kind of like the short story of what it is. But yeah. So, I think we could add a couple of real courses, like a couple. 2 at most.
There's
maybe like Sebring and Lime Rock.
Isn't there a really good road course in the Northwest?
Laguna Seca?
In
Road
Washington?
America?
No, in Washington.
Portland?
Yeah.
Well, I think Xfinity and Truck run there.
Yeah. And that's a market that Cup doesn't go to.
No.
And Lime Rock is right by us.
Yes. I would like Lime Rock.
They need a lot more stands. And JMP. We'll get into it.
Yeah. That'll be something that we get into, of a less Darth way to save the sport. Not that it really needs saving, but it just needs a little guidance.
We know everything about guidance.
Yes, I mean our lives are perfect. We don't do anything wrong, and we're just the best at what we do because I just wake up in the morning and piss excellence. So, yes. But anyway, on that note,
this guy is.
I am Tommy Joe, your host.
I'm Alex.
Alongside my co-host.
I'm Alex Reckless.
And this has been episode number 7 of the Armchair Twister podcast.
6.5.
6.5, sure. Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.